Hi guys, it's just FPL here. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking you guys through my GW28 team selection and my GW27 points, how they are doing GW27 and all about that. So let's jump into the video. So in game week 27, I did activate the free hit as you can see on the screen here, and I scored a total of 56 points. Now, I was not really proud of what I managed to get, but you know, it's the past and we move on, and I think that my initial team would have done worse than this team, so I'm really happy with what I managed to get. A free hit, a green arrow, as you can see, just a small green arrow. And let's just start off talking with Burnley. Now Burnley, they lost to Leicester, and which that was really, you know, Leicester played better. There were a couple of chances that Burnley could have scored, and I think that overall I think Leicester deserved the win, and then they did draw with Crystal Palace. So it wasn't the best double game week for them, with Nick Pope scoring 5 points. He did pick up 3 points from the game against Crystal Palace and 2 against Leicester. It was 2 late goals in the Leicester game, so it could have been a clean sheet. And then Ben Mee, he did come off, I believe, and scored 3 points. So it wasn't the greatest double game week, I can say. He did come off early in that Leicester game. I only got 1 point, so we scored a total of 3 points. And then Weghorst, my captain, he scored 1 point against Leicester and 2 against Crystal Palace. It was just a very poor performance overall. I was talking on Twitter like Captain Sterling, Captain Son or Kane, and then went up vice captaining Heung-min Son, and he did get 9 points. Tottenham did win that game, and it was a fairly big margin, a great win. It just says that Leeds United couldn't replay, and Son and Kane really played really well. I think Kane played very well, and then Son, I think you could say it's a very lucky goal because it wasn't really the best goal he scored. And then we have Jadon Sancho, 1 point, he didn't start. United didn't score as well. And then Riyad Mahrez, 1 point, he didn't start. And Raheem Sterling. Now, I was hoping for Sancho or Mahrez. One of them, if they didn't start, probably will come off and Livermento will get in, but both of them did get a couple of minutes. Sancho, I think, played very well, and he did get a couple of opportunities to get assists, but then United, they really was unlucky, I can say. Cancelo, 9 points. City got the clean sheet against Everton. It was a great game for City. And then Benarek, 6 points. Now, I did get the bench order wrong with Livermento over Benarek over Livermento. Livermento got the bonus points. And Billy Gilmore there, 2 points. And then Amarty, now Leicester did get the clean sheet. And I think Amarty did start that game. So for a price of 3.8 million, I didn't expect him to start, but I could see that coming in the upcoming weeks. So overall, I think I wasn't really happy with this game week, but of course it was a green arrow and we move on. I could say it was a waste of a free hit chip, because there is times in the season like game week 30, double game week 36, there are more opportunities to free hit, and I do have 1 free hit left. So let's just now jump into the game week 28 team selection. So this game week, I am going to activate the wildcard, and it is confirmed. I already activated it a few days ago. So my final thoughts were my team really just need a restructuring. I had Diop from a past few game weeks. I had Bernardo Silva, I still have him now, and Bruno Fernandes, I just really want to get him out. I just want to resort this team, and I think game week 28 is the best time to do so. A double game week 28 and a double game week 29, and then a free blank game week 30. I am currently not targeting players to play in game week 30, of course. Southampton did beat West Ham, so that means that the Southampton-Burnley game won't be played in game week 30. So it's a mess, and I think this wildcard team is mainly to focus long-term and these 2 current game week periods. I might look to plan to free hit 30 and then bench boost 36. I really don't want to bench boost 29. It just doesn't look the greatest, but I could possibly do so. Let's see. So starting off with the wildcard draft, let's start off in goal here with Jose Sa. Now Jose Sa, Wolves defense has been really solid recently, and I think that I really want to take opportunity of that. And he does have a really great double game week, Crystal Palace at home and Watford at home, both games at home, and I think it's a great chance for Wolves to keep the clean sheet. Watford's attack hasn't been improving since Roy Hodgson take charge, but their defense has been improving. And then Crystal Palace, they are just all over the place. Sometimes they get the best results, sometimes they just don't play well. So I think Jose Sa is a good differential, and I think one of the best keepers now. He doesn't double in 29, but then he still has a great fixture long term. Wolves has a really great fixture run, and I think for 5.3 mil, it's just a really great option for Jose Sa. Now, first in defense is Kilman. I am doubling up on the Wolves defense. And again, a low ownership player. Now there are people saying that which defender to go to. I don't really have the money to go to Connor Cody, or I do have the money to go for Connor Cody, but I don't have that much money to go for Size. Now I'm feeling that over, I think that's how you pronounce his name, the right back, with Semedo out for 3 to 4 months, I believe. He could be a really great option for 3.9 mil. I am still looking into that, but I really want just a full solid defense. He is a bit of a rotation risk because with Johnny back, Johnny can play left wing back and right wing back. So there is a bit of risk to take, but Kilman is my option, and I think with the 3 Wolves defense, he's the cheapest one, and I think he's one of the most nailed on one. There are people saying, Willy Bowley, he came back from injury, he could cause a rotation in that Wolves defense. I agree, but even though if it was the same goal game week against Watford, I would still pick Kilman. The long-term fixtures are great, and he is playing really well. If I could say to, maybe to rotate one of those players in defense to take out, I think it's going to be really hard for the manager to choose, and I think Kilman has proven himself to be a really solid defender. Next year is Rudiger. Now Rudiger at Chelsea fixtures. It has been announced that Norwich and Chelsea, the Norwich versus Chelsea game will be moved forward from game week 30 to game week 28, and this proves that now Chelsea has one of the best double game weeks. I believe that the best double game week fixture this week, and I think if you want to go on the defense, it's Anton Rudiger. Reece James is a bit 50-50. It's you could say high risk, high reward, because if he starts, he could be very explosive, as we saw sometimes this season. But I think I'm going to play it safe, and Rudiger is my option. Long term wise, also Chelsea has a really great fixture, and there are reasons to say that why I would wildcard this week. A lot of teams having great fixture swing, and some bad fixtures are coming up for Man United and a lot of other teams. So reasonable to wildcard, and Rudiger, I think, is one of that great. Chelsea, you could say that their defense at the middle of the season, the past few game weeks, hasn't been the greatest. But if you could look at the Club World Cup, the FA Cup, Carabao Cup stats, results, you could see that Chelsea are getting back into the form they were at the start of the season, keeping clean sheets here and there. Now Burnley, you could say that they have improved attackingly, but I just don't think that Burnley, we saw them lose to Leicester 2-0. They didn't score, and then sometimes they play really well, sometimes they play really bad. So I just think that Chelsea is just a great fixture in general. Even if it was just against Burnley, it will still be a great fixture because they play Newcastle next week, but then they do blank in game 30, so I will have to probably bench him then. And next year is Mento. He's starting in my team straight back in. Before the Kyle Walker-Peters injury, I thought that he would be a rotation risk, as Perrat, the left back, did start in the FA Cup fixture against West Ham and did score. It was an outstanding performance from him, and I thought that Liverpool could get benched in the upcoming game weeks. But then I saw Kyle Walker-Peters, he did come off in that game, and Liverpool did come on. So I could see that he at least plays one of this game in this double, and if he even plays one of it, it's just a great fixture. He's got back in the form he was at the start of the season. You're picking up big hauls, big points here and there, and I think that it's a really great time to get onto him. He's a cheap player, which a great budget enabler to my team. Spend the budgets elsewhere, and I think for 5.4 mil, it's just a really great price for Liverpool, and he's probably going to be playing every week until Kyle Walker-Peters come back. Next year, Mohamed Salah, now it's just a no-brainer to have him in your team. He's like a must-own player, and I'm not even going to talk about him. He's such a great player, and even I think he's I only have 2 single game week players this weekend. They are my 2 premiums, and I think Mohamed Salah against West Ham is, no matter the fixtures, he's just essential to me. I just think that he's outstanding, and there's not much to talk about. He's just a great player, and everyone must own him. Next year is Mason Mount. You could say I'm going on a punt to go for Mason Mount, but I'm considering to make him a long-term option, because if he we saw sometimes at the start of the season, if he plays really well, he will get the big points and score. And I've seen him play. Yes, his form has been slightly dropping, but still I think he's a really great option. as he's a proven top class talent. And now there are Kai Havertz, Romelu Lukaku, Timo Werner, these kind of players, Hakim Ziyech. But if I looked into their stats, and Mason Mount has the best stats between all of them, and I think that he is the better option, cheaper as well. And now the forwards, I just don't risk going for Lukaku as his price is just too high, and the situation that he and Chelsea are facing, I just don't know. So I just want to place Mason Mount. I just want to have him, and he could possibly be my captain. He's just a great option, and I think Chelsea attack has been quite underrated in the past few game weeks. They have been attacking a lot this season, and I think that Mason Mount could be that one, outstanding one out of it. I might be wrong. Maybe Kai Havertz shows up, Hakim Ziyech shows up, Timo Werner shows up. I might be wrong, but it's a risk for a risk, and I think Mason Mount could be a really great risk to take for this wildcard. Next year is Rafinha. I just think, again, Leeds are not in the best situation. A new manager coming in, and I think that manager, his playstyle is similar to Bielsa's, and I think that with that playstyle, I think that Leeds will be able to improve. There are a lot of injuries, and I think if I want to target that Leeds fixture and the Leeds double, I think the only player to make sense to go for in that Leeds team is Rafinha. James, he's just not looking great. He might get rotated, and then not much otherwise. The defense, I just don't really want to jump on the risky Leeds defense. So I think the only player to go for at that is worth going for is Rafinha. I think he's a great long-term option and a really good price. So 6.5, I think Rafinha is just a really good player. Leicester and Aston Villa, you could say that their defense are strong, but Leicester, as I'm going to say this before, I think Leicester are the worst defense in the league. With the stats has proven it, and I think they are just been very risky at sometimes. They have been really poor at sometimes. And lastly, in midfield, to complete the midfield is Willock. Now Willock, 5.7 mil. He plays 2 double game weeks, 1 double game week here and 1 double game week in 29. So I just think that he's the most nailed on in the attack. You could say Chris Wood, yeah, but I feel like Chris Woods hasn't proven enough in that Newcastle jersey, and I think Willock has proven what he is capable of doing in that Newcastle shirt. Last season, he managed to go on a great form, like 6 games in a row. He did manage to score. And now this season, he's scored in 2 games in a row, and I think that if he keeps up that form, we could see we could see him doing what he did last season, like at the end of season, just scoring here and there. And I think Brighton and Southampton, yeah, you could say Southampton's defense are solid, but Brighton, we did see them concede 3 goals to Burnley, and they concede a lot of goals to many teams. So I think that Willock, he's just a good differential, 2.4 ownership, and I think you guys should be looking to bring him in as he's a really great option for a really great price. Moving on to the forwards here, firstly, Che Adams. Now, we just did see in the FA Cup fixtures that Che Adams, last few game weeks, he's just slightly better than Broja, and I think with those 2 fixtures, Aston Villa and Newcastle, we could see him, getting points, getting goals. I think his stats doesn't look the greatest like Broja, but the form, the eye test, he has been better than Broja. Broja has been really, explosive, and I think that you might argue that there will be rotation in this Southampton team. Every player will get rotated eventually this season, and I think that Adam Armstrong, he is the other option. Shane Long. I think that Adam Armstrong, even if he managed to play 1 game, he could prove himself that he is a really great player. Aston Villa's defense has been really 50-50 this season, sometimes really great, sometimes really bad, and then Newcastle as well, they have improved defensively, but I feel like Southampton are the very attacking team and playing really well currently. And next year is Broja. Now, a cheap mid-price forward. I think he's the best mid-price forward in the game currently, and Broja, he is a really great option. I did say that Che Adams is slightly better than him, but that doesn't mean that Broja has been one of the best options in the game. Now, there is not much forwards to choose from currently in FPL. There's some forwards are like Jimenez, getting rotated here and there. I think that these 2 forwards are the best mid-price forwards. Yeah, I think Lacazette could be one, but I don't think that he's that mid-price. I was considering Lacazette, but then I did want to go for Broja, Che Adams, and one more that I'll talk about later. Broja is just a really great option, and I said it, even if he played one of these games, is still a really great fixture for Broja. And a long-term wise, Southampton has a great fixture run as well. And to finish off my 11 is Harry Kane. Now Everton at home next week he has a double. So Everton, they have been poor recently, and I think that under new management under Frank Lampard, it will take time to adapt to the system he is playing. And I think that Tottenham are going in a really great run currently. They did lose, to Burnley, but they did get their form back against Leeds, and I think they'll take that form to play Everton at home. So just get that momentum. And Harry Kane, there are arguments saying that Harry Kane or Son, but I think that Harry Kane has the better stats, and I think that Harry Kane, just for slightly more, has been more better in the past few weeks. We saw it against Leeds. He was the better option. I mean, the better player against Leeds when Son just got, I think, I will say, a lucky goal. So I think that Harry Kane is the better option if he can keep up his form. And first on my bench is Dumbreka. Now he is a 4.4 mil goalkeeper, a great value. I was, a benching headache. You are going to see my bench later, and it's going to be a really, really big benching headache. Now Dumbreka or Sar slightly leaning towards Sar, but then next week I'm going to be playing Dumbreka. Newcastle long term has a decent fixture run, and then this week they do double, and I think that he is the preferred goalkeeper by Eddie Howe currently. So I think that to just play safe. And if I were to suggest a Newcastle defender, a player in that Newcastle defense, I will say the goalkeeper, the most nailed on. And I think even if they don't get the clean sheet, he is able to manage to get save points. First on my bench is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now Trent, West Ham at home now, again benching headache. You could argue that Harry Kane or Trent, but I will always favor the attacker in this situation and the double game week players. So he's going to be first on my bench in case, the worst case scenario, one of my players doesn't play the double game week, or Harry Kane or Salah does get rotated. Who knows, but I think Trent will be first on my bench. Next here is Kieran Tierney, a really great option on my second bench. Now, I just don't think that the second bench is needed because my teams are full of double gimmick players and 2 premium players. I think all these players will play, and I think if worst case scenario, he will come on. He is a really good option for the next week. In GW28 he does double, so I'm keeping him on my bench, and I think he believes he plays in GW30 as well. And lastly, to finish out the team, Gordon, 4.5, a cheap midfielder. He plays in double game week in 29, so that's something to take into consideration. And he is playing very well currently, a great youngster, and still trying to adapt to the Premier League. But I feel like he is the most attacking 4.5 mil option. Yeah, you could say Jacob Ramsey, but then I feel like he does double next week, and even if I go for Ramsey, there is not much players I will take out. It's gonna be another player. Who should I bench? So I'm just going to stick with Gordon, that he does double next week. So yeah, so that wraps it up for another video, guys. And I did activate my wildcard this week, and I might be live streaming. The deadline is tomorrow, so this is my wildcard draft. Things are not locked in. Things might change. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I don't really post much, but you could follow me there as well. And it's been me, Jess FPL. I'll see you guys in the next one.